We're probably 3 years away, maybe even less, than from building a computer that has the capacity to make as many calculations as reasonable estimates of the calculating capacity of the human brain are currently set at. So that's like, say, 6 years. And we've got something that's 8 times as smart as a human being. God only knows what we're coming up with here. You hear babies have no theory of mind. It's like, yeah, no, they can imitate. That's pretty bloody amazing, man. Like, you haven't seen robots that can do that yet. Although there are robots now that you can teach by moving their arms. You move their arms, and then they'll do it. And so you can actually program them by moving them, and then they'll just repeat it. And so they're getting damn close to imitation. They're really getting close. And then look the hell out, man. Because they're going to be imitating each other as well as us. And they're going to do it so fast, you just won't be able to believe it. That's coming. You know, the guys that are building the autonomous cars, like, they don't think they're building autonomous cars. They know perfectly well what they're doing. They're building fleets of mutually intercommunicating autonomous robots. And each of them will be able to teach the other because their nervous system will be the same. And when there's 10 million of them, when one of them learns something, all 10 million of them will learn it at the same time. So they're not going to have to be very bright before they're very, very, very smart. Because us, you know, we'll learn something, you have to imitate it. It's like, God, that's hard. Or I have to explain it to you, and you have to understand it, and then you have to act it out. We're not connected wirelessly with the same platform. But robots, they are. And so once those things get a little bit smart, they're not going to stop at a little bit smart for very long. They're going to be unbelievably smart, like overnight. So, and they're imitating the hell out of us right now too, because we're teaching them how to understand us. Every second of every day, the net is learning what we're like. It's watching us, it's communicating with us, it's imitating us, and it's going to know, it already knows in some ways more about us than we know about ourselves. You know, there's lots of reports already of people getting pregnancy ads or ads for infants, sometimes before they know they're pregnant, but often before they've told their families. And the way that that happens is the net is watching what they're looking at and inferring with its artificial intelligence.
These artificial intelligence people that are making these Boston Dynamic robots, and you know, the scariest one that I read about was a DARPA one called the Eater robot, EATR. It operates on, it uses as a fuel, it uses biological material as fuel, which means if
You're
this
kidding.
thing, no,
You're kidding.
No, I'm not
Jesus
kidding.
Christ.
EATR. So this is going to be able to eat dead bodies in the field, theoretically, and use it as fuel to continue to kill people.
Oh, good. That sounds like a fine thing to develop. It's a crazy thought. I was just reading one of Ray Kurzweil's books. I think it was called How to Make a Mind. I really liked it, actually. It helped me understand how the brain compresses information, because the world's really complicated today, so you have to make a low-resolution representation of it to live in it. And he actually explained to me in a way that I hadn't really understood how the brain might do that neurologically, so that was cool. But you know, Kurzweil's this guy who thinks that he's a smart guy. And he's the guy that thinks that we're heading towards the singularity. And so the singularity is, you know how processing speed doubles every 18 months and like hard disk capacity every year, and there's a bunch of doublings going on, a huge number of them, and they accelerate exponentially. We're probably 3 years away, maybe even less, than from building a computer that has the capacity to make as many calculations as reasonable estimates of the calculating capacity of the human brain are currently set at. 18 months away, 2 years away, something like that. And then we're 18 months away from having one that's twice that fast, and then 18 months away from having one that's twice as fast as that. So that's like, say, 6 years. And we've got something that's 8 times as smart as a human being. But there's a twist on that, and this is Kurzweil's twist, which is as soon as you make a machine smart enough to make the next machine, because computers are so fast that will scale up to near infinite computing power almost instantaneously. There's reasons to not think that will happen, but Kurzweil's traced back the doubling of computing power way before the existence of the transistor. And it's been ridiculously stable, crazily stable. So, God only knows what we're coming up with here. You know, and you don't know what something of infinite computing power might be like. Like, you seriously don't know. And there are serious people who are very, very, very worried about that. It's sort of like making really fast robots that can shoot people. It's not that smart. And we're doing that too, very rapidly. You know how you watch the Terminator movies and you see the robots that miss when they shoot at you? Like, they're not very bright. Because the bright ones not only shoot at where you are, but they estimate where you're going to be when you make your escape moves, and they shoot there simultaneously, and their death rate is 100%. And so, there's no war against the robots. I mean, when those things get going, they're going to be so much faster than us that we'll look like we're moving through molasses to them. What kind of super intelligence we're going to bring into being. And I would suggest that we try to bring one in that's good and moral rather than one that's evil and demonic. Right. So, what can we do about that? There's only one answer to that, as far as I know, that works, is get your act together. You're going to be the person who's working in AI, right? I know some of these people. They better be good people, because they're going to build whatever they're like into their machines. So they better have their heads screwed on straight, because they're going to get amplified like mad. And I don't like what's happening with Google and Facebook and YouTube. They're building censorship bots predicated on a certain kind of ideology, that we outlined today. It's a very bad idea. Hopefully good people will stop that. And the way you do that is first by stopping being bad. And everyone can do that, a little bit. So I hope that's what everyone does, because the consequences of not doing it are not going to be pleasant. They never are.